Hello everyone, welcome back to Manga Goblin. I'm Trix, of course, and today we're going to discuss, in our archetype series, we're going to discuss Yangires. Yangire, or Yangire, is a type of character that tends to be either an antagonist or not exactly a love interest, but they can be towards later on. Or they can be someone who's set up to be a bully or an obstacle in the way of the main character and the various events. Yangires tend to be less good and more, I wouldn't say anti-hero exactly, but not exactly evil, if you can understand. There is a lot of misunderstanding between a Yangire and a Yandere, and today I'm going to try and clear up most of those misconceptions. The first thing that you must understand about the two types is a Yangire, or the one we're talking about today, usually does not have any romantic interest in the person they're being hostile to, or the people around that person they're being hostile to. So, for example, if you look at Juno in Future Diary, she's a Yandere. She's, on purpose, trying to make Yuki safe. She's protecting him, she's making sure no one takes him away from her, and trying to impress him. Even when she kidnaps him, even when she does things that he doesn't like, she believes that it will bring them closer. That is a Yandere. A Yangire, on the other hand, has no interest in bringing that person close to them. They only have an interest in the mayhem, in the madness, in the violence. Now, often this is triggered by something that can be triggered by various methods, and if you look on various websites, you might get type 1 and type 2 personalities for Yangires, especially known as why be normal when being insane is much more fun. That's the definition that you could call them. Type 1 personalities, or they're fully aware of all their actions. They know what they're doing. There is a method to their darkness. For example, a character in Future Diary, or Marianiki Tsubaki Kasunugo. She's the blind lady that tries to draw a wedge between Yuki and Yuno. She sows discord between the two and tries to pull that off. She is an antagonist. She's an obstacle towards Yuki and Yuno's affections. Now, for a moment, we're going to talk about satsujin. Satsujin is character. Satsujin is a manga that features a character. Ryo Miyachi in Satsujin is a Yangire who becomes a Yandere towards the end of the story. She is often put on Yandere lists as a perfect Yandere. And to understand her character, she is a serial killer that just goes after criminals. She spots someone spying on her and she says, well, I'll put you on my list as well if you agree to keep my secret. The main character is in a very dark place, and they fall basically in love with each other as the series goes on. It's a rather dark story, and I've only ever read it a couple of times. However, when people use her as an example of a Yandere, I think they're only ever referencing the end, not the journey. And in that manga, the journey is far more important than the destination, if you understand. When you have a character like Ryo, you have to understand that she is dark, she has her own logic, and she thinks that she is doing the world service by removing criminals from it. Unlike, for example, Tsukubaki in Future Diary, she just wants to win. She's been abused, she's been mistreated, she wants to win the contest to become God in Mirai Nikki or Future Diary. There are two different types, and you can see the vast differences in them. However, they both share one thing. They both want chaos. They both want chaos, but there is a method to that chaos. The second type of Yangire personality doesn't know what's going on. They have episodes where they black out, and they don't realise when they go into this fugue or state. Mahiro from DeadTube. DeadTube is probably one of my favourite stories, simply because of the madness in it. A lot of people are not going to like that story, and when I do review it, I am going to put some warnings on the video because it's pretty dark. However, Mahiro is in love with the main character. She protects him with her life and with her body, and she will do anything to stop him from having a relationship with anyone else, which happens quite a few times. One of the few times she wants to kill him is when she thinks that he's lost his virginity to another girl. This is important because she wants him to herself. She doesn't care. She doesn't care about anything but him. She loves him because of an interaction they had as children. She's lost, but he's her rudder and keeps her from just basically going crazy all the time, kill crazy all the time. So that's why Mahiro, or Mai, is one of the best Yanderes out there, and a lot of people would disagree with me on that. And I want to bring up one final character that a lot of people call the ultimate Yandere. Ijousha is Yandere by several people. She is not a Yandere. Her methodology, her viciousness, aggressiveness, the way that she reacts around, vastly different to how Yanderes act towards their love interest. At one point she ties him down and tortures him for several weeks simply because help herself. She is completely lost to the darkness. She has gone from caring about someone to completely falling darkness. In a word, she's evil in manga form, and you can read the story if you like. It's not something that I would certainly recommend, although a lot of people say that she is this pinnacle of Yandereism. She's not. One more, and then we'll wrap up. The last one I want to talk about is Anyano in Yandere Simulator. I'm going to avoid all the controversies regarding that game and just judge it on the writing itself. Again, she lacks the dare part of Yandere. This is the most important part of the character archetype. You cannot have a Yandere without the dare. Midu, Anyano, Mio, Rio, all the others I've mentioned, Kurumi, up until, especially those last two, those two do become Yanderes toward the end. The rest of them do not. That's the most important point. There must be dare for Yandere. So what does Yangire stand for? There are two words. Yanderu, meaning mentally or emotionally ill, and Gaia, meaning to cut or sever or to snip. So I hope everyone learnt something today about Yanderes and Yangires, the difference between them. This is more about Yangires. The archetype is a very antagonistic one, and if a main character is that character, they should always be set as an enemy or an obstacle for the main characters to overcome, as Midu does in Ijousha no Ai, or as as well, and you know, in Yandere Simulator is a whole spicy topic that I might cover separately, but I don't want to go into that really. But so if people really want me to talk about it, I will talk about it. I know people tend to quote Griffith as a Yandere. I think he's more Yangire. Again, this is one of those things that you could ask 10 people about, get 10 different answers. My answers will differ from other people's on my perceptions of the manga. I'm certainly not an authority on manga. I'm just a guy who likes reading them and talks about them. That's it. That's the whole reason for this channel, really. But that's it. That's it, really. My thoughts for today, and I hope everyone had a nice time and enjoyed the little ramble about the type of character archetype. Do I like it? Certainly, it's interesting. But when they're the main character, it tends to be too gory for me. Even though, well, I've read some very gory manga and they were really good. There we go. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope you had a good time and take care of yourselves and bye bye.